That's right.
Yeah.
Ready,
Well, kia ora koutou katoa. We'll just wait for, we're good to go, are we, Nikki?
Yeah, thanks.
2 minutes past 6, so, aroha mai, but, yeah, tag teaming, meetings today, so, thank you for your patience, this evening. Kia ora koutou, e te whānau, mihi mahana ki a koutou ko tai mai. Mawa i te karakia timatanga, tēnei hui.
Tukua tuairua, kia rere ki ngā taimata. Pai arahi i a mātou mahi me tātā tai whai ngā tikanga a rātou mā. Kia mau, kia ita, kia kore ai i ngaro, kia pupuri, kia whakamaua, kia tēnā.
Tēnā.
Hui e!
Thank you. As we all know that in the case of emergency, please use the exits. And we're meant to, if an earthquake happens, is to drop and hold, but I'll be wary of that brick wall there.
Out and hold.
Still being.
Moving on to our agenda, we have 3 items of extraordinary business that need to be added to our agenda. The first is a report to appoint a member from Paitu Mokai or Tauira to the committee. That's the first thing. And the reason for that is because cannot wait until the next meeting. So can I have a mover to add this item, 9.7? Thank you, Violet. Do I have a seconder? Kia ora, Pip. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Say Kyle. Motion is carried. The second item is a request for financial assistance from Georgia May Hill, which was referred to this committee from the Assurance Risk and Finance Committee on the 24th of April. So this is an extraordinary item of business. And this application cannot wait because the funding is required before our next meeting in July. So can I have a mover to accept that? Pip? You, can I have a seconder? Good. Dottie? Your hand to go up. So all of those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? The motion is carried. And the third item is a request for financial assistance from Featherston Rugby Football Club and Featherston Netball Club. This application also needs to be talked to tonight. So do I have a mover for this to be added to our agenda? Pip. Seconder? Karen. Kia ora. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Oh, carried. Are there any apologies?
Tirina?
Terina? We can note that Terina is an apology.
She has sent an email in too.
Right. Anyone else?
So we have another councillor who's come on, but unfortunately he had already committed to another council hui this evening prior to being brought onto the Māori Standing Committee. So unfortunately he can't make it tonight, but yeah.
Kia ora. Thanks, Pip. I also received an email from Mayor Martin giving apologies for tonight. And here I have Dorothy Whitaker. as an apology.
Got an email. Sorry, I got an email saying Sarah Natalie couldn't come. No.
Must have been from my husband.
It's not my daughter.
Must have been Tarina. All right, so I'm just wondering if we had any from Janice online, Janice Smith.
She's very ill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So should we note an apology from Janice
Oh, yeah, sure.
if she's unwell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there.
So do I have a mover to receive our apologies?
Yep.
All right, so Pitu, thank you. And a seconder, JD, kia ora. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? The motion is carried. Are there any conflicts of interest to be declared? Got some funding applications. Are there any?
Particularly, and I represent for Hauriki.
Yeah, just note,
Yeah.
the two and JD are
Representatives.
co-order, Whariki representatives, and they have an application in for funding tonight. So we note that, thank you. Acknowledgements and tributes. Does anyone have any acknowledgements or tributes they would like to make?
Dawn.
Auntie Dawn.
Who's that?
Dawn up.
Dawn, Auntie Dawn, Apu,
And
Ni Rimini,
yes,
and there's another tangi,
and
and Pare,
Kahui. Bray was the one you went to, Lee?
Ahui.
Auntie Kahui.
Yeah, we'd just like to acknowledge our whānau that have passed over the recent months. And yeah, just our aroha to the whānau of that. I'd also like to just acknowledge Nerida Hooper, who has stood down from the Māori Standing Committee after I don't know how many years, but at least I would reckon about 6 coming up. So just like to acknowledge and thank you, Nerida. Ngā mihi nui kia koe mō tō mahi kia tātou. Te whānui o Wairarapa ne. So yeah, ko koe he wahine toa, he wahine tūturu o te kaupapa o tēnei whānau e te hāpori o South Wairarapa ne. So he mihi nui ki a koe.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good idea. We will do this. We will sing a waita after we finish. I think that's a nice thing to do. Now we've got Hauriki Marae. So, mai. This is Prue.
This evening. Yeah, obviously you've got my paperwork. I'm also not alone. There's some supporters here, David, Teresa, and Liz will come along this evening as well. To support this on the application. So it's as well. And obviously it's pretty self-explanatory. We're wanting to replace the mattresses. With the marae, they are old. Some of them were secondhand when the marae got underway. So a fire hazard. materials wrapped on the outside, and it's well overdue for replacement. So obviously, we wanted to put in the effort to get the best product for the marae. You will see on the application that there's some options available there. They're really cheap options, but I don't think, or we don't think that they'll fit the purpose. We want a good quality product because we are proud of what's happening in our marae, and we're wanting something that is going to be hygienic, easily cleaned, stored well, looked after, and provide a good quality product for the people that come to look at the marae. Not much else really to say other than that. So, got any questions? No mind.
Any questions? Okay. Kia ora. Well, how many mattresses were you going to purchase for that?
So, the committee, we have a limit of 70 in the wharanui. So this application is for 70.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's for quite a lot of money. So, if we don't receive that funding, we'll purchase whatever we can with that, and then try and go again next year, or go to some other organisations as we need. But I mean, it's, yeah, it would be good to have 70. So there's not a fight.
And that was for the thicker foam mattress,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and they've got a zip cover.
Oh, yeah.
A zip cover, which is really cool, and the company that is supplying them have said that they do most of the marae now. So and also they're not noisy, because I was worried that they were wipeable or washable, that they would be noisy, but apparently they're not. Yeah, and they're really good quality and a good thickness as well, so they get a good sleep, which is important to us.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Thank you.
Yes.
No mai haere mai Georgia May.
Ko tāke tamanga, ko kiri masa awa, ko matatua te waka, ko rukide te marae, ko matapake te feeling, ko Georgia May o te I am 17 years old from Kuranui Village, and I got selected to go on a trip to Vanuatu in July by the Future Leaders Academy, along with 40 other New Zealanders. So I will be going by myself, so I will be meeting a lot of new people. So it is a bit of a challenge for me, but it'll be good. I had to fundraise $4,600. So I have currently fundraised $3,800. The trip is to help develop leadership skills. Guest speakers come talk to you. You do workshops with to do with like global issues. Lots of team building activities. Meet lots of new people, and I'm also very excited to embrace myself in the new culture. I've never been to Vanuatu. I did live in Tonga when I was 4. Not much, not much for reference of that. And yeah, sorry. And yeah, so it's basic. Next year I'm looking to study law, so I'm really into the issue side of things and really hoping to make a change when I'm older. And so this will help me build those skills that I need, more confidence, meet lots of new people, and just use those skills to help within my community as well as my school. When I get back, I hope to either maybe go talk to primary school kids about this opportunity, really encourage people to apply for it, because I've heard that it really is like life-changing, and it's really like it helps you improve yourself. Because you will learn a lot from yourself, as I'm not going to know anyone that I'm going with. So.
Any comments or questions?
Congratulations.
This is my life as well.
Meet my niece there, she's going.
Oh, nice.
She's got one of these, so you reckon.
Yeah. So how many are going with you?
So 40 other people. I know most of them are from New Zealand. I think there may be 10 from Australia. And then there are some Vanuatu students.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, so it's Australasia, Pacifica,
Yeah.
and Vanuatu's hosting this.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ones. There's Fiji, Rarotonga, they do it all over the Pacific Islands. So yeah, all throughout the year.
Oh,
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Mihi atu ki a koe ko tiro, mo tō kaha mo tō momoia. Yeah, and we're really encouraged actually to have our young people come.
Yeah, brilliant.
Not only ask for help and assistance, but also show that they've used their initiative in trying to achieve some of their aspirations. Yeah, so we will consider and note that you're asking for $1,000 to make up the difference of what you've already fundraised. So yeah, we'll get back to you on that, but yeah, Featherstone Rugby Club. Is it people? And Mark?
So here, from the Featherstone Sports Hub, representing rugby and football of the mainly juniors. We've had a really positive uptake on our sports this year, so how we kind of handle it all. I'll leave the final details to Nefo. Despite the good uptake of sports, this comes at a time when, of course, economically it's a lot harder for sponsors to come to the party, and we've started to drop off. Money in the last couple of years for us to accommodate everything, but I'll leave it to Nefo to go on to the final details of what the increases have been and what's costed.
This year, netball, we had 4 teams last year. This year we've got 8 junior teams. Seniors, we've got 2 senior teams. We only had 1 last year, and we have another development team with juniors coming, senior girls coming through, so it could be 3 or up this year for seniors. Our rugby, we have a senior team which we are now covering to pay for new uniforms because we never had any. They've been on for so many years. And as for the junior rugby, they're coming back in numbers. Our under 6s have grown huge. We're probably going to have about 4 teams this year for little under 6s. We've got so many kids coming through, and we're trying to help as many as we can, but we're lacking in uniforms. Uniforms and sport gear, that's where we're lacking. We haven't got enough funding. We can only contribute so much. We are going fundraising, as you will see, we are fundraising to try and make as much money as we can to help our kids. So yeah, just asking if you guys could help, it would be great.
Kia ora. And you're asking for, looking for $7,000, and this is for netball and JAB rugby uniforms.
Juniors, yeah, that's just the uptake in juniors. I mean, rugby's gone from 3 to 6 teams.
Yeah.
As we said before, netball from 4 to 8, so that's a huge increase.
Yeah.
Just like that, I think everybody's sort of seen it said to come back to school.
Yeah, that's encouraging.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah.
To see our young ones wanting to get physically active.
Yeah. Yeah, and I sort of like go out there and say to the kids, I'd rather the kids be playing something than being on the street causing havoc. So the more kids we can have playing, the better it is. And a lot of the kids that are playing are Māori Pacifica.
Yeah.
A lot of them playing at the moment. I encourage them to play. So yeah, any help from you guys would help. What's it, kids? Thank you.
Kia ora and
So what were the ages for your rugby team? Ages?
Ages.
The age.
6
All young teams which are under 6s.
Yes.
4 6.
And then
Under 12 and under 13 up the top.
Oh, yeah.
It's so you're looking for like playing gear or playing in training gear?
Playing gear, yeah, uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
training with their own sort of close, it's only for game time really that.
All lower decimal means that wouldn't.
So it's the playing.
No, they're not.
Yeah,
Yeah, yep.
And even those prices have gone up as
Yeah.
well.
You know that.
Yeah, our fuel stresses are anywhere from 80 to 90 bucks.
Wee.
Expensive than like they used to be.
It's your sewing machine.
Our main sponsors that cover those extra for the past so many years.
They've
They're not able to do it.
down.
Most of the downturn, they haven't got the money to do it.
yeah, we'd just like to commend you for your efforts within the community. You know, it's appreciated and doesn't go unnoticed. So tēnā kōrua, kei te mihi. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any actions from public participation? That kōrero? Just to consider the application.
Yeah.
All right. Kia ora. Hara mai.
John Hancock. From the last meeting was have a discussion about the name rubber.
Rāpaki.
Yes, the
You mean not rubber?
Rāpaki helped the
Yeah, I thought you said rubber.
the guy came, yeah.
Where we come from?
Sorry,
Yes, sorry. So no.
anyway, in 1988, purchased the place. Wanted to call it Lapaki.
What was the reason why?
Reason why,
Yeah.
because as I say, I come from Banksman.
From Rāpaki.
So I approached Richard Alfred and Teresa because they're early, and they were quite happy for me to do that. So I went to Georgie Hawkins, blessed it for me. So any discussion we have about maybe it's perfect. Already been named, passed. So Rāpaki.
Kia ora. Thank you for the whakapapa of that name.
Yes,
Thank you for the whakapapa of that name, because we did recognise that it was a name that has come down from the South Island. And we wondered, you know, how come that name has come up here? So you've told us.
Single side.
Yeah.
Yeah, Renati Whikita.
And one of the things that we have been trying to do in the Māori Standing Committee is really looking at the whakapapa of land and how things were named and how things are spelt, to really whakamana that the importance we place on its whakapapa.
Well, spelling. No married blood in me, but I've been brought up to respect and understand as much as possible. And I still get told off for using no doubt spelling. With P's and B's.
Case.
I tell you.
Case.
Just still saying the stuff that you said, like not to put anything on the road, you had a reason to name it, but I just want to go back to, that's my whānau from down there, but the land that you named Rāpaki already has a name. Whether you knew of it or not, it's already had a name before being colonised.
Renamed.
It's been, you've actually renamed it. That whenua. It's probably whakapapa is to Rāpaki as well, but what I just wanted you to recognise is the whenua that you named already had a name before that.
But up here,
Yes, the land that you're on probably already has a name. That's what I just wanted to let you understand, that part, but not in anything bad about it. I just wanted you to understand that part, that the land that you named Rāpaki, it's already got a name, an ancient name, but that's not that you didn't know that the whānau didn't, yeah, but
with
yeah.
nothing to
I just wanted to let you recognise
Because
that
it's
part
not
of it.
written.
It's not that we don't want you to name that. Whenua Rapaki.
I've sold it. no?
Yeah, but I'm just telling you the
That
kaupapa.
land already had a name.
The land already had name. But nothing against you, I just wanted to let you know that, so you can say that in your stories that you want to carry
You
on. after
renamed
leaving this
it.
house.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
probably, excuse me, John, but also just to touch on what Andrea said, is as the Māori Standing Committee, we're looking at trying to keep these things correct.
Yeah.
In the sense.
Yeah, nothing to jab that.
I didn't want you to go to the excess of going through renaming it.
Yeah. We just wanted to put that little bit in, so you can use that in your story next time you tell somebody about it.
I'd already been through the protocol.
Oh,
Yeah.
But you
I
went to
just wanted to say
Takanui.
that to you from me and us here. That's what we have inside us from what you've said. That's what we're all thinking about, that our whenua already have.
Don't worry.
Well, you nicely gave another one.
Missy Hart.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Understanding
That's right, because her 2.8 Yeah. sat on that land.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Leonie,
That you read.
the John. Now to the Māori Standing Committee minutes. Are there any corrections needed to the Māori Standing Committee minutes from the meeting held on 30th of January 2024?
Yes.
I have some typos,
Oh, yeah.
like, have you got some typos or
It'll be the same as what.
Yeah.
do you want to just highlight those for two?
Just these two things right at the front there, in which on our agenda, just, membership of the committee, Māori Standing Committee.
Okay, so this is the minutes instead of the agenda. So we're just looking at the minutes of a previous meeting.
Yeah.
If I can refer to page 4 on those previous minutes. I'm looking at under Greg Hay. Which is ticker, the second line there. Offered apologies for not coming to this committee sooner and following the correct ticker. And that I believe should be tikanga.
Tikanga. It makes no sense.
And down further under Liz Karaitiana and Mr. Ray Karaitiana, under the Korowai, second paragraph, it reads, this space is gifted to Ngāti. It should be Hika Wera, not Hiko Wera.
Ika. The name, the Karaitiana spelled incorrectly as well.
Thank you.
Ai,
Ara iti.
tana, karai tana.
And the other eye.
Another eye.
But I after the T,
Put it down.
and then you would have corrected that one. On the next page, page 5, under item 6, last action, number 5. I've got the Terina 2 follow up with, so include the 2 follow up there. And then over on page 6, under item number 9.3, South Wairarapa District Council Māori policy, that last sentence, valuable to have a wānanga is
Anaka.
A-N-A-N-G-A instead of how it's spelled in the minutes.
So the.
Okay, and there's a matter arising around the policy. We'll bring that up offline around the, Pitu just said there's no mention of mana whenua and marae, but he believes that there is, so that's a matter arising. Is there anything else that needs correcting?
I just agree with Victor, if I can, that we probably need to just check the agenda because there's different spelling and the agenda for this meeting that
Okay, well,
as well.
we'll do that outside of the meeting. But
Oh, winning.
Do I have a mover that the minutes of the Māori Standing Committee meeting held on the 30th of January 2024 are true and correct? With the amendments?
Yeah.
I say Karen, thank you. Joe, for 2 seconds. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any against say Carl.
Oh, no.
This motion is carried. All right, we'll move now on to the chairperson's report. Okay, do I have a mover to receive the chairperson's report? Got a Pip? Do I have a seconder? Got a Dottie? All those in favour say aye. Aye. All those against say Carl. Okay, the motion is carried. Is there any kōrero you want to ask about that before I move on to the next thing? I think it will come up in the agenda, the things that I've highlighted. And
E koe mani mai te rangi tēnei o wharamokai. Ko te mani a hono whiti no ua whaka. Ko te papa kai ira. Ko te rangi kei runga. Ko mai to a roha. E tuaki nei a hau ki te. Te mea atu kia koutou, me pēhea e nei tangata kei te noho nei. Ka kōrero mai koutou, kia mātou o a koutou mea hei whakai e nei pānui, e whāna kia koutou. Ka huri au ki te reo tau iwi mā koutou, mā tātou katoa. Just wanting to, my name is Sandy Ngāwhaki. I'm here to totoko the application by Hawaii Marae. We are sitting here waiting for you to release us, to make a decision on all these applications which have been placed before you. And we would like to know what's either your decision or your permission for us to be released. Tā reira tēnā mō tātou.
he mihi nui kia koe, whaia, mō tō pātai ki a mātou, e noho ana. Process, Robin, around decisions, it said that we make those later.
Yeah, through you, Chair, you can move items around the agenda if you wish to.
Okay.
That's in a motion.
All right, so,
Quite a few queries around funding and whether from some of us are familiar with that process. So this is regarding that. We need to have that discussion before we make a decision.
okay, tika. Fitu has said that he wants us to have a discussion first around the process of making decisions and looking at what our budget is, and then to feed back to the whānau through your representatives. So you happy to feed back to the whānau about decisions?
Well, it's for everyone.
Yeah,
yeah.
for everyone.
To let everyone know.
So that will be our process for tonight. So thank you for doing your tono to us. And we will be able to get back to you by the end of this week. Kei te pai. Kia ora. So please feel free to stay or to go. Kia ora koutou.
We have to set our budget.
Nice.
Pay it all, we don't need to. Check our budget. Follow our agenda. That's it.
I thought that was the process anyway. We had to discuss it.
Ka pai haere tonu. Right. We've moved, the chairperson's report. Was there any partai regarding that?
Just, how are we getting on with the paper? There's one.
Yep, so the paper road is on our agenda. So we'll for that there, I thought. Under actions, it's in the actions.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. Okay. Half right. Moving on. I move that the Māori Standing Committee accept the resignation of Paitu Mokai or Tauira representative Narita Hooper, whose letter of resignation was effective of today, the 30th of April. Do I have a seconder? Kia ora, Violet. Do I have a, I moved it.
Yes, she did.
You seconded it. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say Carl. The motion is carried. Aye.
Yes, with Narita as well as Po Māori, she's still able to sit at the table?
Well,
Because I'm just wondering, because Leanne was sitting, I'd like to, yeah. It would be nice to be, a new role as Po Māori for the South Wairarapa District Council.
Yeah, because you represent.
Well, let's start.
we're inviting Narita to the table if she wants to. With your new portai on, no mai haere. We're up to reports from Chief Executive and staff. So, Narita, did you want to, before we get you to speak, we're gonna, ask for a mover. Receive the Po Māori report for April 24. Karen, kia ora. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, JD. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say Carl. The motion is carried.
Thank you, Tato. So writing this report was last week, a week before even. So still very new into the role, just trying to get my bearings and my feet under the table. So I didn't have too many things to add to my report, but really speaks into Andrea's report and subsequently Vicky's report as well. And so things that topic at the moment is the enhanced annual plan, and there's a couple of things we do want to raise for the Māori Standing Committee to be aware of. Really the process of consultation and the process of what is it when you write back? Submission, that's right. The submission and the questions that are is pending at the moment in relation to the enhanced plan. EAP. So how deep can we talk about this? Because we've been talking about this in the office quite a bit, and two things that have come to, or one thing that's really important to this committee is so the water allocation for households is something like 350 cubic metres per household, and the council are looking to lower that to 250 cubic metres. It's still a lot of water. It's a load of water. It's a heap of water. That's the thing. It's really high, so it doesn't really get used. And so I guess, in a term, you can't clip the ticket if it's so high, It's a bit of a crude way to say it. But 250, lowering that down. But the impact of that is probably a marae. Because, sporadic, you might have 200 people for 3 days.
Yeah, that's one of the.
Spot. So, without trying to have sort of undue expense.
So is domestic and say a commercial thing with the different?
Not commercial.
You guys aren't commercial, though.
Oh, yeah, well,
Profit, eh?
yeah, not.
You've got one commercial arm with
But
leasing land.
you are on the town supply, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it didn't really affect them because they're on tanks.
Yeah.
And Papua, I feel like they've got half on
Town.
and half on town.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some impact to them as well. But Yeah, so it's just to raise that to you guys and it's going to be a submission to raise.
So needs to get a tank.
Yeah, well, we've actually just got what the 530,000 litre tanks. We've just got two more of those that have been bought in, and we're sorting out, hooking them up, whether we're going to take our water off the roof or whether we're going to fill those up so they'd be solely for drinking water.
Right.
So we're still sorting that out. We've only.
Because you could do it like we have at Kohinoe, we still have the roof rainwater coming down, but we have that filter that filters it when it comes back in.
Well, we've sort of we've only recently, David applied for them and then they were just dumped there. We sort of didn't even know, and they were just dumped. So in the last, few months, they've arrived there, and now we're sort of deciding how we're going to,
Being as sustainable as you can.
Yeah.
Thing. But this was an implication the director, and it, not only Marae, but schools.
Yeah.
So,
Should all get water tanks.
so what was the best way for this committee to, put a submission in? Nikki, what was the best process for them to do?
Chair, Marae are welcome to submit the enhanced annual plan. Submissions close this Sunday, so got a few days left there. So the Māori Standing Committee is welcome to submit as well on behalf of the community. So we recommend a resolution for that to happen and make sure that you're in agreement in regards to what would be on that submission form and if anyone would speak to the submission.
So regarding that, I see in options that reducing it to 250 cubic meters and increase the rate per meter, per cubic meter.
Over and above that 250, there'll be a cost to that. But 250 is still a lot of water.
Yeah.
But in the Marae, that happened quite quickly.
Yeah.
And if you have a hui there for 3 days with 80 people,
That's one tangi.
your tangi, yeah.
That's right, Tangiha, if it goes for 3 days.
And if it's in the summer, wow.
Yeah, we know. And we're not down at the schools, but it would, so, it's for you guys to.
Well, we'll have a discussion with Hauriki around that.
So, but I mean, so these submissions have got to go, and if they go, see, our meeting's not till next Thursday, our next committee.
Yeah, it's a
Yes,
time thing, isn't
We can drop one around.
So I note that there's a submission form that we can fill out. And I note that the Māori Standing Committee could put in a submission
For the marae.
around the consideration of exemption
Yes, that's it.
for marae,
Oh, yeah.
around what they're proposing.
Then we have time for Papawai to sort one out too.
Yeah, and then it's up to the marae to be able to put in their own. And this is how should we charge for water use?
Yes, the other decision as well, is decision one as well in regards to the investment in water. So
How much should we spend on operating and maintaining our water services? And I see the preferred option is option number 3. That the council has highlighted that, which is high end.
no, the budgeted option is remaining where we are.
One,
Holding.
option
With a little bit, with a little bit more for
investigation research.
um,
Is that what the preferred option is?
At this stage, but we are asking to put that on 2 other options.
Yeah,
The third option is the Wellington water recommendation.
Which is the highest.
yeah, that's
It does include some restorative capacity as well. Around.
yeah.
Around what, sorry?
Back of Papawai, I think.
Oh.
But that would have lead to an increase in rates of what, 7.3%?
Correct.
And then the middle of the road option gives us a little bit more than we currently, but still an increase of rates of what, an extra 4.1.
Yeah.
Instead of saving money, it's going to cost more.
Yeah, so I said just those
So the
2
one-
points to be real in regards to the investment in restorative planting on the rural and that end, so the work of the Marae.
And I'm just looking at the third option was how should we pay for the replacement of our assets? And I mean, now with the repeal of the Three Waters Act, this is now the responsibility placed back onto councils. And
Water tanks and everybody's.
the preferred option here from the council is option number 2. Is it?
Yeah, we're looking to change the way service activities.
Yeah.
Currently, the way the state is, the rate has paid back the loan and so save at the same time for the replacement of the equipment.
Yeah, your depreciation.
Yeah, we'd like to borrow.
Yeah.
And we pay off into generations, so that we pay off over the loan and then borrow again to replace the asset.
Right, so not save for depreciation.
Correct, so we feel that it is a collection twice in the current rate payers, and it aligns a little bit more with what's currently out there with councils as well. And we'll just allow us to pay that.
Do you know if you know the interest on funds borrowed? Do you know if there's a special rate?
Yes, there is. Councils do have special rates, so we don't borrow through the banks like a business or individual would. Councils do get a special rate, and yeah, there's a bit of work that goes into that in regards to
The formula. Okay, cool. I've heard an acronym called CPO. Is it like a separate or around or COP? Is that where a separate entity is set up and they do the borrowing for the council? I'm not. Have you?
It's my understanding, but I feel that it's not might not know something.
Yeah, well, actually, it's not, unfortunately, Janice would be the best person to speak to this. Because she was the one that brought it to our attention, and I would hate to accidentally lead you wrong. But yeah, unfortunately, she's got shingles. She's very unwell, so
Yeah.
it's got to be here.
Okay, so I was just interested in maybe we'll see
But
what comes out of the actual, process.
Happy to answer those questions. If there were, I can find out that information and come back to you.
Okay, that's cool. The key kōrero for us tonight is around, do you want us to put forward a submission from the Māori Standing Committee? And if so, what?
The water.
Recommending.
Yeah, I recommend that the committee does a submission around water allocation of some sort of exemption or rated as some sort of special character. That we'll have a go at that with elected members.
Okay, so that's on the second decision to be made. Is anyone got anything to say to that?
So I could probably work with you to prepare that submission. Can I do that?
So what entities are we including in our submission? Is it just Marae or can it be schools and hubs?
Well, we could make note to that effect, but I think we're really interested in Marae.
Yeah.
Let's be a bit more specific, but add a note to that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're not going to be the only ones that it's going to impact on.
And then what about how should we spend on operating and maintaining water services? So this is our subcontract with Wellington Water.
So through you, Chair, so at the end of this form is also final feedback, and there's a chance to make comments on those questions. You don't have to answer all the questions, but you're welcome to include commentary around things that may be important to the Māori Standing Committee. That if they are not totally related to the questions we are seeking feedback on, still be considered, and also feeds into the knowledge of the plan as well. So any information collected as part of the submissions process is given to all of our elected members to read. It's stored, it's used as mathematical analysis to also look at working on as well. So any additional topics or areas that might be relevant to the Māori Standing Committee, please.
Yeah, so we can put it in there. We have done that in the past, looking at Po and different towns, looking at, the our urupa being maintained. We've got this week basically to put in a submission. So if I can suggest that if you have any ideas that you email them through to Robin. But tonight I was wanting to know if you're happy at least for us to put in a submission.
Yeah.
And would you like to have to put that you would want to talk to this at the actual hearings?
It's a good idea too. I would recommend it.
And that, so we'll tick that box that we want to speak to our submission, and then,
So when do those close? Sorry?
Sunday.
Sunday,
Yeah.
yeah.
No pressure.
No,
So-
I sent all these off to Kevin to have a look at it, and I didn't get any answer back from him.
Yeah.
Oh,
So can I have a mover actually, that the Māori Standing Committee, actually is happy to, do a submission? Kia ora, Violet, in a seconder. And we'll do that, the motion, all those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Any against, say Carl. Okay, so process is if you have any whakaaro, you have a copy in your meeting pack on our previous submission. If you want to put that forward, please email. But what we'll be focusing on is really this the allocation of water, second decision to be made as our key point. And I want you to also think about who might like to talk to, who might be best to talk to it when it comes to the time to do that.
just like through you, Andrew, I'd just like to ask Nikki a question regarding the submission. If we put a submission in and then in the meantime, something else comes up, can we talk to that as well in our submission?
Yeah, the submission's coming through to Vanity.
Yep.
So I'll put them up and send them, so, yeah.
Yeah, no, what I'm getting at is this, our haste to get this in for Sunday, when we go to sit down and have our kōrero, if we bring something else up.
So, yes,
It's got the water.
through your chief, respect to your submission, then that's a chance as well. So, you can
Highlight other things.
highlight, your key points.
And they are from memory, those oral, talking to your submission orally, it's around the middle of May. 16th, something like that. Just to flag. Kia ora, was there anything else?
I did make a note in there that I'd had an opportunity to have a look at the Featherston master plan, and I quite enjoyed it, because for one, there was, a lot of conversation, a lot of dialogue, but I could see there were keywords that I knew had come from mana whenua, and there was like the dialogue of Māori tanga being acknowledged and recognised in that plan, and also the idea that it's a dual narrative that needs to be given expression to. We're doing these master plans, and I saw both of those concepts bedded into this project. So I was quite pleased about that, because that's taken a few years to get that thinking across. So yeah, saying that was quite good progress. Yeah.
But,
Did you decide who was going to present, or?
we'll do that online, unless someone wants to put up their hand to present and talk to it now, or we can decide via email. I just,
Talk to
yeah. Yeah, it'd be good from the marae.
Yep.
I would agree.
What date is the oral submissions?
Sunday.
Mid-May?
Yeah, 16th of May, when they presented. Yeah, I just recall that I wouldn't be available for that. Due to work commitments.
I will confirm that anyway, and we'll have a meeting with the Marae.
Yeah, yeah.
Committee.
And possibly.
Of May.
Mm.
Well done. We'll confirm. Okay, moving on to appointment to the Assurance Risk and Finance Committee. We will now move into item number 9.2. Do I have a mover to receive the appointment to the Assurance Risk and Finance Committee? Yep, kia ora, thank you. Do I have a seconder? Got a Violet. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All those against, please say Carl. The motion is carried. Nikki says, can you please speak to your report?
Just let me just step down. Oh.
While you're finding it, you could probably also give context of why we're looking for another person.
So to share with Narita stepping down from the Māori Standing Committee, we're just looking for resolutions. If we have something in writing to record the appointment to the Insurance Risk and Finance Committee. Narita's been sitting in on that committee.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're just keen to go through the motions. To go through the motions to the resolution for a replacement.
Do you have any nominations? Anyone volunteering? How often do the committees meet, that committee meet?
We've got the dates, 22nd of May, 14th of August, and 23rd of October. And I know Karen, this is one of the committees as well, similar to that you said on last year as well.
Yeah.
Are you keen to go again, Coach?
Well, don't we need two people? Do we need two people?
You usually have one person and then an alternate.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't be there.
Well, now it's.
We need an alternate.
Can I add, through you, Chair? Being on that committee is, it's actually quite important because it's the committee that decides on funding applications, so community and youth funding. And so that's quite a big pool of money, and you have various groups coming in. I just realised that whilst I was on that committee that, well, for one, not a lot of Māori groups actually apply. Very few, if any.
Funding, what's that one? Because I see there's a whole heap of funding.
The community and youth.
Oh, community.
And so there is something there where our people don't see themselves as the people going and asking for money. And so there's not a lot of representation of Māori or Pacifica or minority groups applying for that funding, even though it's community and youth. But that aside, you actually need a Māori lens on that committee because what we see in an individual or a group or their organisation is very different to my peers could see, and even their experience was maybe not as in the same depth as mine because of being Māori, being part of marae, being part of the other community that lives here. So I just think it's really super important that Māori are on there because we will have a Māori lens is what it is.
I totally for that, and I think one of the other issues around lack of engagement is lack of knowledge of the funds that are available, and know how well our council actually inform and promote those funds allocations to whānau. To the whole community, really.
So the council did have a stall at the, like an area here at the town hall when it was for anyone, like all the different funding agents came, like, so a big group from around the area. like, it was, the Funders Forum, it was called, and it was here at the hall. It was very, very well attended. So there were a lot of people out there, and some of these grants that we've got coming this evening have actually come from there. So knowing that there is.
Oh, yeah, so that was a good thing.
So it's it's just really good that people understand the different avenues that they have through council. So I was on the table there and stayed with the staff to just be there to see what, you know, what people were wanting to know. And
Is that a regular thing, that kind of?
Yeah, I think too.
Yeah.
the first one down in the south.
We don't want to hear no.
Yeah.
It's definitely, we are noticing an increase in grant applications, both in the number and in the amount being asked for. And it is getting tighter, and I think the community are feeling that. So it's a nice opportunity to allow people to see all the options that are available for funding.
Yeah.
And it was great to, we had a funders booklet as well, so you got to see, you know, and find out more information about everyone as well. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So really good committee to participate in. And so who are we putting on that?
I'm happy to put my hand up, but I can't make the 22nd of May.
You got your, yeah.
Go to that one then.
Okay, so can I, like, before they back out, can I have a mover?
I'll second.
There's one that I'm not. So there is no Māori lens over it at the moment.
And is that something that you, as Māori Po, you come to those meetings on that committee? Can I attend those?
You can attend, obviously, there's no vote for the Māori Po, and it's up to the chair when you sit at the table, but you're welcome to attend.
Oh, so really monarchy there, eh?
So there is a vote, is it?
So
There's a vote. Yeah, the vote.
You can vote.
Oh, there is.
The person we have nominated.
Yeah.
yeah, you'll get the vote.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, who wants, because you can just work it how you would work it.
Yeah.
You happy for me to put you forward as the previous alternate to be the representative with
But
you as your alternate?
Okay, but you are voted.
Yeah. Every time you can't go, he should be.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to move that arrangement and put Karen Cody as the representative with Vitu Corona as the alternate to the Māori Standing as a representative of the Māori Standing Committee at Assurance Risk and Finance Committee report. Can I have someone to move that? That's Violet.
Yeah.
You happy to move that?
Yeah.
Seconder? Can I get a seconder? Hold it.
It's in there. Back out now.
AD, I'll put you down for that. All in favour, say aye. All those against, say Carl. The motion is carried.
I can't make those.
Tēnā kōrua. Lake Ferry Tender Information Report. So we're up to 9.3.
Hate that word, Lake Terry. You sound better.
This is I'll just do the formalities. Do I have a mover to receive the Lake Ferry Tender Information Report? Mover?
Any fellas on it?
Yep.
Okay. And Vitu is the seconder for that. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say Carl. The motion is carried. Who's going to talk to this report, James?
And James are both.
Both of you can come and know my how to make one.
Kia ora koutou, my name is James O'Connor, offshore partnership side president, so along with my amazing team, we oversee communities in the South Wairarapa, including the Lake Ferry Wairarapa.
My name is Sarah, I work for James, mostly in the property space, and I've been across this file for a long time now.
It's a very straightforward and short paper. Really wanting to come to the Māori Standing Committee. Before we start any process here, we're looking to tender a long-term lease at the Lake Ferry Holiday Park. Before we do that, we wanted to come and talk with you and seek your guidance rather than trying to do that at the end of the process partway through. So a very sort of open discussion and willing to listen to say.
Well done. Thank you, James. Whakaaro on this one.
To the chair, James, could you give us a little bit of background? I know there was quite an substantial issue when the council took it over. And what's happened since then, just to give us a bit of background.
Dead fish.
I can talk to that. So we had issues with the management of the park in terms of compliance, and then was unable to reach resolution with the lessee at the time, and then entered an agreement to purchase the above and below ground assets of the park, so the infrastructure of the park and the buildings, in exchange for surrender of the lease of the Lake Ferry Holiday Park. And then in between, so that was last year now, and in between then and now, we've had a license in place. And the main thing that's been achieved is the main thing is actually the distancing between, there's sort of like a permanent units down there that where people have a caravan and an annex that sit all year round on a site. And it got to the point that the spacing between all of those units didn't comply with the regulation that governs it, which is the camping ground regulations, which require a particular distance in between. And so the main thing that's happened in between then and now is that we do have, and I think all cases but one, the spacing we need to conform with that regulation, which means that it can be registered as a campground without any caveats in place, which so at the moment it is, but there's a caveat around that, the spacing in between. And then it can be, now that it's compliant, we can look to tender without any issues. There are other bits and bobs that have happened down there, like security gates, that kind of thing. But the most substantive thing is that becoming compliant as a camping ground. But mostly the infrastructure is the same. It's dated. It was mostly done in the 70s. There's sort of toilet pots and showers as you'd sort of expect in a dated camping ground, but it's not, it is what it is, and would be looking to tender it in that state.
So just a question around the successful lessee would have to maintain the infrastructure. Is that part of, or what's council's role? Do they have to, look at the assets?
Exactly how we're going to do that is part of what would be looking to work out, because at the moment we own the assets, but in some cases we don't. So in Martinborough, the campground that operates down here, the top 10, we largely don't own any buildings on that site, but in Greytown we do own those historic buildings. And so deciding on whether we're actually selling the buildings as part of it or not is something we haven't quite worked out, because it can kind of go either way. And if we own them, it might have a bearing on how much of the split of profits we make, for example, on the site. But irrespective whether we continue to own the buildings or whether we didn't, we would expect the incoming lessee to at minimum keep the buildings to the standard in which they entered the lease, which is pretty standard for a lease arrangement, that they have to keep them up. And beyond that, our lease would say that you've got to paint regularly. There would be various provisions that detail the expectation of the ground and the buildings. And then as like landlords, our job as a team is to make sure that the person is doing those things over a period of time.
Yeah.
By inspecting and being in conversation with that lessee.
Cool. Any whakaaro on how to be involved in the tender process? Because that's what I'm asking. Anyone's got any? Yeah. Yep.
I just see here that you've said that you have contacted Ngāti Kahungunu ki Wairarapa, a Treaty Settlement Trust. Have you heard from them? Nothing yet.
Oh.
Have you had contact with Rangitani?
No,
Because Kahungunu didn't get Onoki in its settlement, not all of it.
Maybe talk to both. Yeah, Tumaira.
Tumaira investment.
People you need to talk.
Yeah.
That's around investment.
Yeah, so Tūmaira, yeah. That would be them.
Do we have as a committee, do we have a preference to, or do we have any say in a preference towards, the successful tenure?
You could be involved. Could we be involved in the actual tender process?
I think these are the things we're certainly open to discussing. So the tender documents have been, and evaluation criteria have been formed. We're very much right at we haven't even started the process. It's helpful to speak to you and seek guidance. So open to have those discussions.
Yes, it's pretty sacred ground.
I've written that down to be involved in the tender process, and is that hapu? You know, should it be?
I think it should be hapu.
Hapu. And then
Anyway,
And
through the
Kohunui?
process.
Kohunui, yeah.
Kohunui.
I think maybe the successful applicants to take an induction with the hapu around the whakapapa and pūrākau of that of the whenua, so that they understand the whakapapa.
Would that be part of the document?
Yes,
Should
part of
that
the
be,
induction.
Actually,
Yeah,
tender.
we get anyone angry later, that's, you know, yeah, it's gonna be, but we have to live down there, so. It involves everybody.
Through me to prepare what you need to do for engagement,
Yeah.
how we do that.
Is there any kind of other ideas? I think that's probably, yeah.
Yeah, will it
Karen?
also contain, your caveats around development and what is permissible? Because we certainly wouldn't like to see suddenly a high rise go up.
Yes.
Which would just spoil the natural,
Certainly in the lease itself, all development would be at councils that would have to be consented by council. So that's sort of one barrier, but that means that over time, even if the lease, because leases can also get sort of assigned or sold to someone else, and then what you say in the lease then will wind the incoming person. So
That could
Yeah.
help.
the needs of
Right, yeah.
developing.
see something like.
Yeah.
It's a really the sun
Just giving the sticky fingers.
So,
down there this holiday.
Narita's happily put her hand up to be the conduit to help facilitate that involvement in the documents and process. And we are pleased to have that being put to us actually.
Yeah, thank you.
Got it? Thank you. Moving on to item 9.4. Income and expenditure report. I have a mover to receive the income and expenditure report. Claudia, Violet, do I have a seconder? Thank you, Karen. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against, say aye. The motion is carried. Apologies from Janice. I was hoping that she might be here tonight to be able to talk to this. Is there any questions? I have a few.
It's in big print, I can see it. It took up a whole page.
So just looking over at the executive summary of the Māori Standing Committee funding on page 59, we can see that we have the 4 PO there. This is going to help us as we look at those funding requests.
Yeah.
Wow.
I won't. Take out.
A question I had was, if we spent all this money, the financial year is ended June, would we still get allocated the 42,834 for the next financial year? What have we got budgeted? That was my first question. Because something I've noticed is that we're not spending money and then not getting
Anything
back.
Yes.
Took a long time.
And it's been raised quite a lot at the council table by Councillors, wanting to
Rita will be there now saying.
going on with regards to this, Nikki and I have had a look, and I feel like it's already been put in for this next financial year, hasn't it? It's been recognised or?
Yeah, I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, can you, because we have serious discussions about this because
Yeah.
in 2020, and you'll remember Narita, that was, it was meant to be yearly. We were told that the funding was going to be coming through exactly the same way as community boards, and that every year there would be funding, and it did nothing.
The number never changed.
So enough is enough, and we need to get that sorted because, you know, if we're having.
We're in a partnership.
Being sent to the Māori Standing Committee to ask for putia, and we want to be able to help, you know, our rangatahi, we want to be able to help our communities that.
Next load of funding's coming.
We need some, you know.
And we can't if that's going to be our only putia.
What you're saying,
That's our money.
we have an annual amount allocated for the Māori Standing Committee to dish out things.
Yeah.
Is that right?
We hope so. Yeah,
Supposed to.
supposed to.
Haven't seen it.
And what happened last year? Because I don't think there.
We
We don't
I don't
spend
re-
all the money.
No,
No.
I don't recall being involved with any funding applications last year.
We had a few that came.
Yeah,
Yes.
the heaps.
Yeah,
And so this is the balance left over from those 4
that's the current balance year to date.
Plus the reserve funds left over from
And
20.
there's the answer why we don't.
28,834.
So the last funding round was July last year,
Yes,
because that's
that's
the
the
last.
new
time it was
financial
spent.
year.
That's the new financial.
And so the reserve funds are those that are accrued and over from underspend of the previous financial year. So that equated to 28,834. And then how much is our annual budget? Is it 14,000? That's what I want clarity.
It's what's available this year, 14.
Total funds available current year.
What?
So, I'm just going to encourage the Māori Standing Committee to spend all their funds because it's a
So we get-
service to our community, our whānau, if we're holding on to money.
Yeah.
So does it?
And when they come to apply for it,
We should allocate a budget amount every year. And any underspend from a previous year should be able to be rolled over.
yeah,
So, I just want clarity on what our, budget is.
Do we,
it's terrible.
That's my question.
and who is eligible in regarding applying for these funds?
Will be in the criteria of the funding application.
Funding application form. It's like you're in there.
There's a Māori Standing Committee funding.
For us.
Money, at the moment, does it?
Yeah, right there.
It rolls over every year if you've spent.
Excess, yeah, if you have,
The objective is to spend it.
to get it out there for the community to
Community.
use. Yeah.
It rolls over, but does it roll over on top of the next?
And there's community library.
Yeah.
Accumulate community. Six of funds.
Okay, well, I look forward to getting the answer of how much for that. But I'm going to move on to a financial assistance report 9.5. Because I'm wanting to get some assistance made on spending this.
They're asking for.
This is what-
They removed that.
Yeah, that's done. Okay.
All this needs to be
Yes, that's that.
Still themselves. It's like.
All right, can I have someone move receive the financial assistant report? Kia ora Dottie, seconder. Kia ora Pip. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Any against, say Carl. Motion is carried. Now, who can put to this one? Financial assistance report.
You mean,
Yes.
I think of this one. I believe there are special, branch rules for the Māori Standing Committee and that. I'm just trying to find something for you. To be eligible, applicants must be able to demonstrate their connection to South Wairarapa through whakapapa or family connection, or how the activity will benefit the South Wairarapa Māori and non-Māori community.
Is that all you wanted to highlight?
So I know that we've had two people remove, two applicants remove, and we've been added two more. Apologise for that. So I should have the two that you had today.
Yeah.
And the one that was the Kumharaki Marae.
Hawariki, yeah.
And that's all. You go.
Okay, so we removed some applications. Wairarapa Whānau Trust.
Yep, they
That
withdrew.
got removed.
Yeah.
Kooranui College,
They withdrew.
they withdrew that one, and that's the status of that. So you're just highlighting the criteria?
Today, Hauriki and the netball club.
Yeah.
Yes.
Netball.
2 and 3 were.
And we've got enough money there to pay.
I'm just noting, 2 and 3 have been removed.
There was a fundraiser.
Okay. We'll go to talking about the fund requests now. Now, the first one we are talking to, just noting Fitu and JD not participating in this decision, because the first one was 17,710.
Excuse me, but we can discuss and have conversation with him. Application is just voting on the application.
Yep, okay. So, is that right, Vicky?
I just want to clarify something with regards to what's in here where it said that the the Martinborough Community Board, because I sit on that as well. So what had happened was that when this application came to the Martinborough Community Board, it came through the Payne Farm estate, and the reason so that we couldn't do it is because the Payne Farm estate is like for the children of Martinborough, so the playgrounds, the sports grounds and equipment. Things like that, and so it just it didn't fit. So this that's why it didn't sit on there. However, we did say that if it came back through, so we were just moving it from one of our po to another because we had a second tranche as well, and however, we have to do it at the next meeting because it wasn't the fund that was applied for. So there is another tranche there with some money in there, and so that is also available, and so it wasn't turned down, it was just that it had come through the wrong. Yeah.
Okay.
Way.
What's the amount of allocation can come from that fund?
I'd say we'd probably be able to do 5 towards that. However, I can't make that decision on my own. It has to come through the Martinborough Community Board, and then for them to be able to have a look at that. So I just wanted you to know that as well, that there is still an opportunity, and it's really cool because Prue had really gone out looking hard out for.
And I don't think she realised that was the restriction on the Payne Farm thing too.
Oh, there was meant to be a letter. Okay, so.
Can
We will sort that.
regarding one of the applicants and regarding the sporting uniforms and gear they want, could they apply to the Payne Farm? How often do they?
So Payne Farm is so we have some of the Martinborough of the different clubs come to us and apply for through Payne Farm.
Is it only eligible?
So it'd be okay for Featherston?
No, it's only Martinborough.
Yeah.
It's literally for
Won't
children.
work for them.
Oh, yeah, so that one, that cancel that one out, the one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Hawariki, how much do we want to allocate to
So,
Hawariki?
I mean, if you want to allocate it,
Are we wanting to get rid of our pūtea for the next funding?
E te
Do you want to
te.
India?
Pardon?
Do we want to empty our bank out and just? We've still got a few more months to go, haven't we?
Well, we've only got, well, the next,
May, June.
yeah,
What's our next hui?
May and June, but our, next formal meeting's in July.
Yeah.
So this is the last kind of one at the,
Can I ask a question, please? You were referring to, the Plain Farm Fund and Hunborough Community Board. Is that who manages that fund?
The paper, yeah.
Oh, okay, yep. When's their next hui?
Member community board, hang on.
30th of May.
Oh.
yeah, so timing's good.
Yep.
I need to ask, how much do you think we can contribute? And bear in mind, how much in the past have we given to Marae?
Was
Well, we're,
share of,
it was only back in 2020 that we.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah.
Marae for the first time.
Yeah.
As a committee to be able to give to Marae. So this is the first time. in
Yeah.
2020.
yeah, and I think it was about 8,000-9,000.
There's about 9,000 each.
9,000.
Yeah.
And I think at that time it was tables and chairs. They really needed tables and chairs.
Cheers.
24 years later.
Yeah,
So,
All Marae within.
Hawaii and all that.
And so May's $1,000, is that right? The other one?
It was
7.
Seven, that was the sporting one, eh? It was the sporting one.
Can I suggest maybe keep it at the 9 as our contribution?
For the marae.
Yeah, if we've paid 9K to other marae and
Yeah.
it's for the mattresses and it come out of, well, I'd like to see a whakapapa. It's got 12. It doesn't really matter where it's coded so much, but
Yeah.
that's got 12,800 in there. Can I,
In the marae one, yeah. It's
In the whakapapa one.
yeah.
yeah, can I get someone to move that? Bottom. Kia ora, seconder, so Leonie, moved by Dottie. Kia ora. All those in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Oh, the motion is carried.
Just like 2 extensions or exclusions.
Exclusions, JD.
Whakapapa one.
Moving on now to Georgia May Hill. She has asked for $1,000 and remembering that last financial year was it we gave to any Māori, you know, like 500 each to go to Raukawa in their study pursuits.
Yeah, and that's quite, you know, a leadership,
Yeah.
it's,
My niece Sires.
it's big, yeah. It's,
Big thing.
it's like big futures there.
Or
Yeah.
funds yourself.
I want to.
Yes, she has. She's regularly everything herself.
I wasn't sure she, because she doesn't live here.
Whakapapa's on here.
Yeah, she whakapapa's here. So she can apply for some.
Absolutely, she's okay.
What amount?
We should
A lot of her fundraising.
We should give her the full amount.
Okay,
Yeah.
would like to move that, Karen?
Yeah, I'd like to move that.
And can I have a seconder for
Is that for the full?
Dottie?
Full amount.
Full amount of 1,000.
Your Poma.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
No recommendations.
Favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against?
Oh, yes.
Any against, please? Okay, Carl. Some confusion.
Under the marae waiwata?
I was thinking Totoko.
Oh, yeah.
Totoko, her and her pursuit.
Aye.
The motion is carried. Kia ora. The last one is around the rugby football club and netball club. They're asking for 7,000 here. For Carol.
Well, because I live in Featherston, I think they are invaluable to our community.
Yeah, and it's mainly
Off the street.
mainly kids, eh? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like real young kids, that's where they start.
We're rolling them in those teams, you know,
Yeah.
especially for little Featherston.
Thank God for netball.
Plus, I'm going to be in the women's team, so we need a unit.
And they do a lot of fundraising last
Women
weekend.
rugby or women netball?
They had
Oh, not the netball.
sizzles and quite a lot of activities to raise funds.
How much?
Up to you.
The full amount.
Yeah, because they're asking for 7, eh?
You just heard of
Featherston-
pain.
Featherston doesn't.
Oh, no, but they don't,
They don't-
it's a,
They don't-
it's
Only Martin,
a township. It's not even like
Payne's how many does matter, but
even further out like Naui or it's literally like 5711.
Featherston doesn't have a marae, so we very rarely.
Your house.
Yeah.
And a quarterback deal in your house.
Something else street.
she comes from Kulinaree.
I was for 5,000, just to round it up to that.
And then we've got a little bit left for
Next year.
the next couple of months.
So how does that work then in regarding
It-
rollover?
It will roll over.
Yeah, but I mean, can people apply before our next meeting? And do we have a meeting to discuss that?
Are they aware that they can?
Yes, Nikki? Can you find out if we can do that on email? Approve funding applications. We do at our forum, we do.
Typically, you're gonna find out if it rolls over.
This is just.
Well, typically rolls over because it's been rolling over since 2020, so it's.
So they can get it from.
Yeah, that shouldn't be,
Yeah, any of
Any
those.
fund.
Well, if that's rolled over from 2020 and we get allocated 14K a year, that's of course. Is,
Yeah,
Just
so that part.
not getting it, that's the thing.
Oh.
We're meant to be getting it, but we hadn't been getting. Yeah, because
So the action is, Nikki's going to find out the actual status. We can do that. Can you find out, since we have a forum meeting in June 11th, I think it is. If we can do business like this at the forum. Please find out. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so we do have another opportunity before the end of the financial year to pass any further applications.
So we'll have one coming from your niece.
Yeah, I'll be on the phone as soon as I get home.
So did we move the 5,000?
Not yet.
Can I have a mover?
yeah,
I'll second.
Second, okay.
5,000.
Jody, all those in favour, please.
Okay,
say aye.
vote. Oh, I keep getting-
Any against?
No, that's fine.
Any against on that motion?
Oh.
Oh, the motion is carried.
Hilda.
I'm just thinking
Well done.
who notifies our,
Applicants, that's you.
Yeah, so that's my first task in the morning.
okay, cool, thank you.
They'll get it.
Have a look at your letter too, just in case I want
I was gonna fill.
Carl?
Or if you want to make them aware that the grant application. And we may, because of what was moved at the last meeting, you may even be able to do it via email.
We've got-
Like, I'm not sure, maybe just double check that meeting, but.
Haere tono, we're nearly there. 9.6 is our action items report. Do I have a mover to receive the action items report? Good. All right, kia ora Violet. Do I have a seconder? Kia ora Karen. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Oh, say aye.
Hi.
Any against? Say Carl. Or the motion is carried. Any questions or clarifications you would like to ask around the action items report? Do you want to take us through those? Bye.
Through you, Chair, so item on the top, 358 and 359. So you were invited to a planting on the 3rd of May, but it's my attention today that it's been cancelled because of high water levels, and I anticipate that will be rescheduled.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you can update the status of that one,
Yep.
yes.
Um,
Just the ones that are open, please.
Yep. 147, the paper road. Oh, so,
Going.
yep. So that's a bit of paperwork to look through some documentation, so that hasn't happened yet.
So the
What sort of?
CEO has asked for a meeting
Bring that up.
next week. I think on Monday.
About the paper road?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it still happening, down there?
Well, yeah, the
mean,
activity by vehicles, yes.
To get a fence up,
I know you put up a sign,
to put a fence up.
it's sort of been
That's a.
started.
Any kōrero, Leanne?
Yeah, that means. But yeah, I think Andrea summed it up. It's full of construction.
Lots of distraction
Yeah.
before they do something.
Don't want people getting out shotguns.
So they're going to be stupid because it's kind of threatening to do things themselves, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks
And we
stupid.
don't want that.
We don't want that, and it's hard trying to tell them, no. We did that years ago, you know, what a process, lay that to rest.
Okay, well, that's good. We've got a meeting to progress that item.
Leanne had.
Ian Hudson.
But it's.
Yeah, I think it will be sitting down with the CE and talking about how can council support a process that will look towards making it a walking track, doing something around it. It'll have to be a legitimate process. So
Yeah.
process, so get the ball rolling.
Kapai. All right, we'll highlight that. Next action.
So action 149 was about the freedom camping bylaw. It went to council on the 27th of March, but I haven't had any more information since then.
We're just looking through signage at the moment there, that was related to signage at Paper Road, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is a sign out there at Paper Road at the moment.
Yeah, the Pakis don't understand English.
So.
She'll sign it.
They'd look by the English words if they wanted.
They're freedom camping.
Maybe if we wrote it into the old, they would understand it, but it's written in English. Both.
Yeah.
They just disregard
We
it.
want everyone to understand it.
Make it a public announcement, not just.
We'll take that to the meeting with Janice.
Yeah, and then I think you have to
Not just there.
populate the dialogue, don't you? Like we have to use our comms to say, you know, this is, you know, the history of that area so that it starts reaching different platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start to change the mindset and the thinking that, you know, this is really just open to anybody. It's not.
Drive through.
Okay, you want to socialise it.
Socialise.
Make it a social.
Positive way.
It's not just, a lot of people use that.
Yeah, they love it.
A lot of people
They reckon.
respect that. It's only a little.
Yeah, number he used it.
Locals, children that.
After our little place, our significance, you know, it has to be socialised in a way that change some thinking.
Yeah, there's a misconception.
They change their habit.
It's a dock camping ground.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bring that up with
Actually, it's not a dock camping.
Bring that up with Janice. It's a multi-pronged approach.
It used to be ground, you have to pay for that one, so get back there.
It's not a camping ground either.
It's called the Pinnacles, go and pay for it.
Okay.
59, I was going to invite Mr. Carter back to the forum on the 11th of June
On the disregard.
Okay.
for an update.
Is he, so, did they have the, resilience training at the Marae the other week? Yeah, at Hauriki? With Nigel,
Yeah, that was when Nigel came down on here, came down and he had a
The lady
good,
from the community.
yeah, from the community board.
Angela.
Yeah, they came down and talked about that.
Was it good?
He was here.
Yeah, it was good, but when Fitu asked me about it today, I was going, oh shit, now what happened? Yeah. But yeah, now that you, yeah, it was Nigel come down there and give us a good, you know, about our responsibilities and sort of, getting ourselves prepared for that sort of thing.
Yeah, so
And-
David's working.
And the things we have to do, and David's working with him, he's on our trustees.
Oh, cool.
He's working with him to, get it sorted.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
Oh,
Swam?
And,
Um, 155. So our youth development coordinator has just, has recently started at the council.
Oh, that's positive.
Yeah, and she is developing a strategy with youth. And we've all had some youth ethics training. There's a few of the staff that went to the ethics training, and that was really beneficial.
Oh, yes, Seva's organised that.
Yeah, Steve organised that. And
It'll
so-
be good to meet her, Tim.
Very well done.
Oh, name?
Steve,
Has it got a name?
amazing.
Oh, I'll tell you someone who we need to meet too is Louise, the library lady.
Is that the long-term lady? No, she just got the recognition award.
She takes care of Carterton and the South Wairarapa libraries and librarians. But she's a cool lady and she's got some really great aspirations for the libraries and all the stuff. And she's looking for cultural competency training and she's looking, aspirations, yeah, interns.
Oh,
Yeah, neat lady.
okay.
Is this youth development coordinator new?
Yeah.
Yep, so
Is
she,
that a new position?
yep, and she's maybe 2 months in the role.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's her name? Sorry?
Alex.
Alex.
Alex, yeah. Cool. Us.
So it's pretty small. 156.
156.
I was still trying to find a suitable venue. I talked to Alex about this when she first arrived. I pounced. Feels that the Anzac Hall is a bit colonial for
And cold.
and cold.
Miserable place.
Horrible people hanging on
The
the.
Kiwi Hall's on the other side and that's a lot smaller, right? Kiwi Hall's a lot smaller than the Anzac.
Way smaller.
But you, I'd like annex.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, just take those photos down.
Put our cheek away from.
Can we just listen to Robin?
I understand there's still some corridor going on about finding a suitable location and that's ongoing.
Ongoing.
So, yeah, I don't have any updates. Yeah.
Okay.
On that one,
What about it?
so the number 2, request to hold a session around conflicts of interest. I haven't organised that.
Okay,
Would you like
that's-
it on a separate date to the forum, perhaps, rather than?
And we'll leave that up to you.
Okay. And with Mayor Martin, so number 3, with Mayor Martin been away, the work on the Korowai has paused as far as I know.
He's back though.
But he's-
Yeah.
And I wanted Violet and you, Dottie, to liaise with the whānau and me and Martin to make that happen. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Well, I know Liz was just waiting on a date.
Yeah.
From the mayor.
So,
Okay.
with me back on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Thursday, yeah,
Thursday.
white tongue, Anzac Day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just regarding the storage of that, weren't we getting a cabinet made or supposed to be getting a cabinet or suggested we get a cabinet made?
Yeah.
For in
That's
here?
storage and
So that it
at the
can,
council.
no, in here, I thought.
Yeah,
It was going to be stored here and.
So the feathers aren't damaged, belongs in here, it's uncle.
Glass case something.
yeah, that's right.
It was his,
It's-
but it's to be worn, it's not just to be hung.
Can you liaise with Robin? Can you do liaise just to get a meeting with you guys to have the kōrero around how you want to progress that one?
Okay.
I look forward to it. Much like, you know, we did with the our artwork, eh? So-
James, it's true, Andrew, James, your facilities, do you perhaps look at sorting out the cabinet for this?
I'll
Is
leave it
that-
up to
is
the
that right?
organising committee. They can organise the right people
I think that's already.
to do that. Next, please.
Be nice.
4 was to get some clarity on the name of Rapaki, but
It's
Hancock has.
the owner,
There's your-
previous owner of it, so we named it.
Bubba sorted you?
Much about that.
And so,
What is that?
yeah, we can use that, but
Can you write it down?
Write something up, yeah, so, I'd like
To
to.
explain how it got its name in the first place.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll leave that with you, Robin.
And the last one was Tina was gonna follow up with Papawa regarding making contact with Far North Solar.
It's got nothing to do with us, but it's up to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and but
So
we had sent an email just with the update on there.
What did the email say?
So she had.
I have it,
Yeah, so she just said, from our last hui, I did pass on the Far North Solar Farms details to Hedwini, and he has been in kōrero with them. The solar farm were due to attend our trustee hui last night via Zoom, but our hui was postponed until next week.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. It's good to hear. What about this Māori Standing Committee appointments?
yes, yeah,
9.7.
yes.
Do I have a mover to receive
Could I
the,
just go back to our action point?
well, this is what this is.
Is it?
Yeah, to receive the action items report.
Receive it.
Why have we got that twice?
Because I forgot to take it out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so have we come to the end of
So we've
any agenda items?
So we've finished up.
Well, I have a question in regarding.
Yeah,
action
just,
reports.
just clarifying this first.
So apologies, that should. That should read this. So if there's another question about the action items report. That's good action.
About what?
Māori Standing Committee appointments to receive that paper.
And where are the appointments?
It's the extra page that came in.
Oh, okay. Going back to the actions then, now that we're clarified that last point.
Oh, Matt.
Okay, I'd probably for Nikki, in regarding the Māori policy, what's happening on that? Because we've pretty much
Yeah.
agreed on it last.
Yeah, I do, but it's taken a long time, isn't it? I'm sorry, Narita.
Yeah. I decided I'd have a look at that again because I knew it was one of the ones on the action list that hadn't been finished. And there's the edits that we're going to be doing and adding into them.
Yeah, there was.
So I'm gonna try and make that my priority the next few days to get those edits in there and shape it, put it into shape. And
Can we-
something to present.
Yeah, because it's going to be presented to the full council meeting in March. That never happened, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and it was tied up with the long-term plan, so when the long-term plan, became the advanced and got deferred.
Yeah.
And so that, so just.
Got pushed out.
Pushed out, the better of the words, so that in line related to long-term. So, yeah, on a radar with the radar, and we can look at that, and the long-term plan, with that will come after the enhanced annual plan. So we'll look to start that again.
Right, so if we can get our finalised document that will align to the long-term plan, which will kick off in July.
Yeah, so we'll look to start with the long-term plan, towards the end of this year, with it going through that, early next year. And then going through council. So it will be a 9-year plan because we have later to find 1 year.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of the things, later on a few things, and one of those is also just the information around the business as well. The new reports.
Yeah. So any other?
Your name,
Sorry, but there was in your report regarding the changes to the Māori ward, we didn't really discuss the options available to us.
No.
And regarding what we can and can't do with that.
So
you running.
going on to the next kaupapa, that's very important. Just coming back to the Māori policy, I would like to have that at our forum because we want to nail that down and to understand what we are wanting adopted or to put forward to be adopted. Kapai, so we're clear on that action. Of course, the next one is around, what Fitu is raising around the Māori ward. Can you explain when a decision will be made on the council and what they decide out of the three options for that, Nikki?
Yeah.
So just refresh us.
Yeah. So, through you, Chair, the current legislation, the bill, is still being enacted, so it's still being written at this stage. So there is still a lot of information that needs to come to hand. The initial timeline was that would be introduced in May. From what the conversations that I've had with Elections NZ is that may look to slip a little bit, like that potentially it might be a little bit after that. The bill seems to be aligned with the reintroduction of the poll for Māori wards. So the bill itself is around that. It relates to all those councils that introduced or are looking to establish Māori wards since the bill was removed in 2001. And
that's us.
That's us. It's 45 councils around New Zealand. They are looking at effectively three options. The rescinding of Māori wards and then not having any for 2025 or 2028. So the representation review falls in line with two cranium cycles, 2025 and 2028.
Yeah.
So a decision to rescind for 2025 and then poll at 2025 for the 2028 triennium.
Yeah.
Or to keep the status quo and to poll have a Māori ward for 2025 and poll at 2025 for 2028. So
what's the difference between B and C?
To not have a Māori ward, but poll for one in 2028.
Okay.
Yeah, so that may change. We need to see what comes through the legislation before we can advise council on the decisions that they can make. So at the moment, we have to work with the legislation that is in play, and that's the current legislation. So we are keeping an eye on the bill. It will need to go through readings, go to the select committee, and then be up for royal assent. So there is a process that it needs to follow before it actually falls into law. So there's no change that the council can make at this stage until that bill is enacted and taken through the process.
So keep an eye on this one.
So are we able though to, so I'm assuming that there's something coming to the council table?
Correct. So we're currently in the process of the representation review as a whole. So there is a workshop looking at the representation reviews that cover things like the number of councillors, the wards, the boundary lines, whether we have community boards. So that work is currently in play. Council, before the end of July, council will need to decide on their preferred option for representation at the 2025 and 2028 local elections, and that is related to the full representation review. At some point, and we still don't have a really hard and fast deadline around this bill and the timings of it. So there is still a bit of fluidity in regards to timings, but at some point, council will need to go back to council to allow council to make decisions on Māori wards.
Nikki, so my understanding is that what you're saying is that we won't know until after the representation review, which was the whole point of actually trying to get a Māori ward put in as part of the representation. But because we're not going to make any decisions on that until after the representation review, are you telling us it will be not until the next representation review?
No, so the representation review is a really long process. So council need to make two decision steps in that. So the first one is the preferred option that goes up for full consultation under the special consultative process. And then council need to revisit that decision after the deliberations and hearings, and to either make tweaks or to confirm that that is the preferred choice. So there is a period of time when we'll go through the special consultative process on that. When we got the briefing from DIA, they were very aware and they really wanted the bill to fall into legislation to align with the representation review. I just don't have any further dates, so at this stage I can't advise further.
I think my main concern, or just what I need to kind of wrap my head around is if we can't do a poll and get the feeling, and then the representation review already starts, and what we're putting out there doesn't have the option of a Māori ward in there, when we've been advised to go back to all the Māori within the district and around the marae and everywhere you've heard that.
Again.
It was, everybody said yes, like it was a huge, so I mean, I'm concerned that all of that hard mahi that's already been done is going to be lost. And people, when they just keep seeing things getting taken away, they stop fighting in the end, and we don't want to stop fighting. So I'd like to try and ascertain whether or not the poll can happen, so that way the representation review is accurate as we can make it here in the South Wairarapa. Is that possible? Because I don't want the representation review to be done without that information, and then we miss out on having a Māori ward.
The poll will be a part of the 2025 local election, so it won't happen any earlier than that. So it will be part of the ballots when you.
So the representation review has to be done before that.
Yeah, the council will need to make a decision as part of the new bill. So I just want to be really clear that this is still not even, like, we haven't seen the legislation. We've just been advised around it.
Yeah.
That we still live under the current legislation that is in play, that we need to just see what progresses through Parliament. And once we get to see the legislation, we'll be able to advise further. But at this stage, status quo applies because we're still under the current legislation. Yeah.
Which means that we can still have a Māori ward and vote for a Māori.
Correct.
Councilman, next
At this stage.
Legislation, yeah, we have voted to establish a Māori ward for 2025 and 2028. There is a lot of work going on behind the scenes in regards to keeping a watching brief on this.
Yep.
And we are very keen to advise you all as things progress.
So you guys have done a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. It's just that.
Oh, the council can't do anything.
No.
You know,
It is one of those.
Legislation.
Thank you, Pip, for raising that. Unfortunately, it's out of the council's hands around the timing of things, but just want to acknowledge, that's the environment we're in. And I would like to actually be proactive in getting whānau to actually think about who they might support, to actually put their hand up to run Māori ward, and to keep that focus.
Yeah, and through this year, we are starting an engagement as well, so people are welcome to give us feedback in regards to representation in general. So that relates to how they feel represented at the council table, whether it's through a Māori ward, a ward at large, the community boards. There is information on our website, there is an email address, so even before we go to full consultation, we are welcoming input from our community on how they feel represented.
Okay. I think that should be a standard agenda item.
Yep.
Just
keep up with, yeah.
Roll it over.
We keep a focus on it. Last but not least, at 8 o'clock, 9.7 Māori Standing Committee appointments. Can we now move onto item 9.7? Do I have a mover to receive the Māori Standing Committee appointments?
Oh, that's Mark.
Violet, kia ora. Seconder? Yoni, kia ora. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Any against, say Kyle. The motion is carried.
Not allowed to poach him for a job.
Now, this is the proposal from Paitu Mokai for a replacement for Nerita is Mark Fenwick. Do I have a mover to accept Violet Mark Inuit to join the Māori Standing Committee and a seconder? JD, all those in favour?
Aye.
Any against, say Carl. The motion is carried and we look forward to Mark being invited to our forum. Yeah, so, okay.
I mean, 3 tāne, eh?
Ooh, taking over.
That's enough.
Was the only one when I came on.
Last word,
Last word, having a think, you know, in regarding our hui, and although we do have a forum in between, we don't meet enough and a lot of stuff gets done without our knowledge until our next meeting. And I'm just wondering if perhaps, how can we report back to those who we represent and who we're representing? And I was just wondering if we put together like a newsletter of some sort, so that we, before the things that council have been doing, so that we can present it to our committee meetings, just so that they have.
A presentation of the,
I think that's a great idea.
yeah,
So you,
save me talking about it.
Can we get our new po Māori to work with the comms?
I can do that.
Totally.
Because it's cool how they got all the new engagement with the community on the South Wairarapa district page.
Mm.
Yeah, we should be stepping in between some of that too. So our whānau actually go on that page,
Yeah.
so what's happening.
Fix our power.
If we're putting our,
Yeah.
if we're putting our chair or our po on there explaining what we're going through in our meetings, there's more engagement for our whānau.
Yeah, absolutely. And when do you guys normally hui then? You guys in start of the month or
yeah, no, it was the second Thursday of them each month.
Thursdays? You guys have set.
This,
So ours is the third. So ours is next week. We're having a special one next week, so I can take it to it.
Alrighty.
It had been last week, but
And Dottie,
nobody turned up.
you want something like a newsletter for you too?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would be good to get for Rangitani,
Mm.
especially for the board, then it's not just us going back saying, well, this happened, but this didn't.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
And so what do we report to them?
and you know, you can give it, they're informed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ka pai. All right, Katia Mutunga,
But they already know you're in the job.
okay, Tato. Unuhia, ki te uru kapunui, kia wātia, kia māma, te nākau, te tinana, te waiwai, te aratatu. Koiara e mo whakairia ke ki runga, tūturu ka whakamaua kia tina, hui e tāwai.
Ora koutou.
E hoa whakapainga hinei kau e hei o ranga mō mātou tinana pāsea hoki o mātou wairua ki te taro o te ora o kati tō mātou araki. Āmene.
Bye.
In the kitchen. Bye.
That guy.
My bum